History in the making tonight at one of the most historic stadiums in the world, the LA Coliseum, hosting its first Thursday night football game as the Los Angeles Rams battle the Minnesota Vikings. And there's Kirk Cousins as he walks in today in his first season as a Viking. Minnesota with that 1-1 record. He's trying to double that win total today. And Jared Goff, the Rams quarterback, in his third season now. 3 wins to start the season. Looking for number 4 tonight.
Week 4 begins with the Rams rolling.
Touchdown, LA!
And the Vikings reeling. 4 days after a Buffalo stampede, will the reigning NFC North champs get back on track? Meanwhile, the 3-0 Rams are firing on all cylinders. Does the road to Super Bowl 53 run through Los Angeles? And with expectations soaring for Minnesota's new starting signal caller, is Kirk Cousins living up to his $84 million mega deal? Week 4 starts now on NFL Game Day Kickoff, presented by KFC.
Are you ready? Charges in. Touchdown! Intercepted!
Great pick right there. Wow.
And he's sacked.
The Rams are going to host the Minnesota Vikings on Thursday Night Football.
Welcome to NFL Game Day Kickoff, presented by KFC.
We are ready to kick off week 4 of the NFL season here in LA. The fans very excited about this one. I feel like there's a lot more Vikings fans out here today.
It seems like there's a lot of Vikings fans here right now.
Weird.
I see a big sea of purple out there.
That's right. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Colleen Wolf. Alongside, I'm going to start all the way at the end with Kurt Warner in the house. Then we got Reggie Bush and Reggie.
House of Reggie built, right?
This is it, the house of highlights that you added.
I'm a little familiar with this place a little bit.
Little bit?
I played a couple games here.
I love it. But everybody has a little bit of history here. And Reggie, for sure, part of one of the greatest college dynasties you were. So this was amazing. And I'm
Coach Mooch used to coach here, too.
Oh, funny you should mention that. Steve Mariucci is our third one on the desk tonight.
Yeah.
And there he is in 1996.
That's Tony Gonzalez touchdown. That's the first time Cal beat the Trojans in the Coliseum in 29 years. Reg, gotcha.
Coach.
Oh.
How you, come on, man.
But
I saw you had the suit on the sideline, too.
Coach has always got to take those shots.
The same exact suit he was wearing.
He's got to remind people.
I also coached for the Trojans, too, though.
I know.
You were in diapers at that time.
I was 1 year old.
Yeah, I know.
And now look at us. Here we are on the desk at the Coliseum. We have a huge game here tonight. A lot of people sort of had this one circled on their schedule as an NFC Championship preview, maybe until last week when we saw what the Vikings did against the Bills. Of course, injuries, too, are a big part of both of these teams right now. Marcus Peters working out on the field as we speak, not expected to play tonight, according to our Ian Rappaport. And then on the flip side, no Everson Griffin, but Ian also tells us Dalvin Cook is expected to play, but he will be on a pitch count.
Yeah.
So not great for fantasy, but good for him, of course, as he works back from that hamstring. You won't see a lot of what the Vikings did a week ago on offensive highlight reels. They only rushed the ball 6 times, and 2 of those were from the quarterback. And uncharacteristic play here from Mike Zimmer's defense. He gave up 29 points there in week 2 and 27 a week ago, so not really what we're used to from Minnesota. It's been a weird start to the year, guys. We've seen anything can happen on game day. Survivor pools everywhere, completely just, everybody's out, I feel like, at this point. Yeah, so Kurt, when you look at the Vikings' loss last week to the Bills, how concerned are you about it, or are you just like, it's fine, they do this every year?
I'm very concerned, and I know we're only 3 games in, and they went out and made their change at quarterback, and it doesn't seem like they've hit their rhythm yet. But when you talk about this team, coming into this year, Super Bowl favorites by a lot of people, and what did we say? All they are is a quarterback, a big-time quarterback away, and so I expected this offense to look different. I mean, we're seeing an offense here that has gone scoreless in 7 of their 13 quarters up to this point, if you count OT. You go back 2 weeks ago against Green Bay. 7 points through 3 quarters. Last week, 7 points in a whole game. When you were down the whole game, I expected fireworks. I expected this team to go down swinging, and that to me is what's missing right now is the defense. They'll get it right. They have a lot of good players. I'm worried about this offense that I expected to be much more high-flying this year than we've seen up to this point.
This has been a question of did they overlook the Buffalo Bills because everybody knew that they were a better team. I go back to 2010, the year after we won the Super Bowl. We went to the Seattle Seahawks Stadium, first round in the playoffs. We knew we were going to beat them. We knew we were better than them. They were 7-9, and we felt like they didn't belong here. So we were a little cocky, we were a little confident, but that's okay as long as that cockiness does not hurt the way you play. And we went in there and we got smacked around. So I think Buffalo caught them off guard, got on them early, and then they couldn't catch up.
You mentioned overlooking the Bills, and maybe there's a little bit to that, and I coached for 3 decades, and you will always have a game or two where it's not a team they were expected to win by 16 points, right?
Yes.
And they just came off a great emotional game against the Green Bay Packers. That's their rival, okay? Tie. They were spent emotionally, and then they knew darn well they had the Vikings coming here on a short week. So that Bill was the trap game, so to speak. But as a coach, Colleen, you got to keep your team laser focused, and you're not talking about anything else except the job at hand, and your coaches have to do the same thing, your players have to do the same thing. They just didn't look like they were interested in that Bills game. Not to mention they got down 17-0 with 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. It was like the game was over.
The new quarterback there with Kirk Cousins. You have a new offensive coordinator with John DeFilippo. You still have the best wide receivers there. That duo is amazing with Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs. But that offensive line, we'll have to get into that a little bit later in the show.
They're going to be tested.
Major problem for them. So a lot the Vikings have to work out on the field tonight. Additionally, there are some concerning reports about what's going on with a player who is not here tonight. For more, let's bring in Ian Rappaport. And Ian, the Vikings will not have one of their top defensive players, Everson Griffin, tonight. He did not travel with the team to Los Angeles. So what can you tell us right now about what they're working through right now with him?
Well, Colleen, I'm told there's a serious mental health issue that is going on with Everson Griffin. So, I mean, the team and Griffin himself, of course, are working through. He is away from the team as he deals with this. Something that head coach Mike Zimmer has said very publicly. They want him to deal with his health first and foremost before he comes back from the team. Now, this goes back to a couple incidents last week that involved police being called to a local hotel because of his behavior. He then voluntarily entered into a mental health evaluation, something that colleague Tom Pelissero says should be finished today, so we should be hearing from Griffin soon. Meanwhile, the Vikings have offered all the resources they could for him, and the NFLPA has offered its crisis management help for him. No timetable, though, for his return.
Ian, thank you. We just hope right now that he's getting all of the attention that he needs. Of course, Dalvin Cook, there he is walking out onto the field. He is expected to play tonight. That and more coming up.
Howdy, folks.
NFL Game Day Kickoff is presented by KFC's new Hot Honey Chicken. Try the crispy sweet heat today. It's finger-licking good.
Donald, he was great last week against the Chargers, and here's a look at who else had a great week 3.
Unstoppable, presented by Courtyard by Marriott.
McCaffrey, big hole into the secondary, and there he goes. Look at McCaffrey breaking tackles into the secondary.
He's got great speed, great vision.
Goff now throws. Cooper Kupp, touchdown LA! Jared Goff led him right into the end zone.
It all starts here with Jared Goff. This guy is doing everything.
Breeze flushes out to the left. He goes into the end zone. Going over the top, and that's going to be it. Touchdown. That one's over, and the New Orleans Saints defeat the Atlanta Falcons.
The Rams offense has been practically unstoppable so far. And look, Mooch, Kurt, which matchups are you looking at that's going to define things tonight?
Well, Colleen, these matchups, I know a lot of times we want to look at the skill players, you know, we got Warner jerseys and we got all kinds of skill players. But I like to look in the trenches. The trenches, that's where it happens. How about this? And the Rams have an offensive line that's to die for. Now, look at it. I'm going to just take the left side of this line, starting with center John Sullivan, and you got Roger Seffel at left guard. You got Andrew Whitworth. They run the stretch play to the weak side a lot. All right, watch how they come off on that zone block right here. Get to the linebacker, stay front side, and you got about 9 yards. Run it again. This is one of their favorite plays. If you only had 3 guys over here, they're going to smash you, and if this thing happens to bend back, same 3 guys against those those three guys, and watch Gurley cut it back, and he picked up a block from Blythe and Havenstein, and this thing bends back for about 15 yards. And you know what, Kurt? They're going to run this play and run this play and run it, and they're going to come out with the play-action pass off of it.
And I'm not sure that you were didn't think you were going to go to the offensive line there, because there's so many great matchups in this game. Aaron Donald and company against a beat-up Minnesota Viking offensive line. You got those great weapons on the outside against the great corners of the Minnesota Vikings. But I tell you what, the matchup that I'm looking for is the big play of the Rams versus the aggressiveness of the secondary of the Minnesota Vikings. And we saw this last week. You see right here, just a motion outside. We're going to fake the bubble screen because we got a young quarterback, right? Look at all these Vikings that are attacking the football. Oh, you attack? We're just going to slip this guy back behind, and you see big plays. That is what Minnesota cannot give up tonight. You can't attack the line of scrimmage, which is hard with Todd Gurley, but that's how they get behind you. We're going to see another one right here. We're going to see a deep over with the post in this particular look. And watch both of these safeties again, Coach. They are both going to attack and drive downhill. Uh-oh. We got a post on the back end. This is what the Rams love to do. Play action you, get somebody in front of you and go deep. Underthrown ball right there, but should have been a touchdown. Nobody's better at the play action deep ball than the Los Angeles Rams. That's going to be a matchup I'm watching tonight.
Yeah, so many good players, so many good matchups. These two teams should be both playoff teams eventually. And I'm going to send it back to you, Colleen.
Thank you, Mooch and Kurt. All right, let me tell you a little something about Play Football. It's a year-round initiative celebrating youth and high school football that aims to promote values of football participation and connect communities. So high school players out there, share your highlights with hashtag Let's Play Football and see if your plays make it into our top high school plays of the week. Congrats to our winners from last week.
Riverdale High School channels the Little Giants on this center screen to Aiden Vent for the rumbling touchdown. Wheelersburg High School's QB launches a ball deep downfield to Tanner Holden, who rolls over the defender for the long touchdown.
Nice job, guys. How about a high school flashback here, Reggie? In case you were wondering what Todd Gurley looked like in high school, it's pretty similar to what he looks like now, a grown man.
It looks like it. That boy is gone.
Yeah.
You know what? One thing I love about looking back at old high school tapes is that, man, we had a lot of space and opportunity back then, man. Bad tackling, you just running around everybody.
That's right. And there he is now, Todd Gurley, ready for tonight. No one's more excited about this Thursday night football game than Todd Gurley. We'll talk about him coming up.
NFL Game Day Kickoff is brought to you by Verizon. The best unlimited is on Verizon, America's most awarded network.
Back here on the campus of USC, Tommy Trojan there basking in the sunlight. He's no Drexel Dragon, but hey, we're here at USC, so there you have it, guys. A lot going on in the NFL aside from our game tonight, and we welcome back in Ian. So Ian, the Panthers had some injuries in their secondary. They made a move today.
They signed the biggest name free agent out there for on-field reasons and off-the-field issues as well. Eric Reed signed a one-year deal worth a max of $1.9 million for the Carolina Panthers. I talked to General Manager Marty Herney earlier in the day. He made very clear this was a football decision. Of course, everyone knows Eric Reed has been involved in the collusion lawsuit against the NFL, been very outspoken about his role in social issues in this country. But this was about football getting a playmaking safety to fill the void when Denoris Searcy went out with a concussion. I also asked Herney, by the way, had they talked to Reed about whether or not he's going to kneel during the anthem? He said they did not, reiterating this is a football decision. I'm also told, by the way, that his role in this collusion lawsuit will be unaffected by his recent signing in Carolina.
So Reed's grievance will remain a topic of conversation, much like the quarterback hits have been through 3 weeks. And after the competition committee met last night, Troy Vincent put out this statement, which said in part here, in reiterating its position on quarterback protection, the committee determined there would be no changes to the point of emphasis approved this spring or to the rule of which the body weight provision has been in place since 1995. To ensure consistency in officiating the rule, the committee clarified techniques that constitute a foul. So, Ian, what does that mean?
It means the rule that everyone has talked about for the last couple weeks is not changing. The roughing the passer emphasis remains the same. What they tried to find was some consistency and clarity. And the biggest takeaway from this video, which lists several examples of what to do and what not to do, is that if players intend to roll off the quarterback or not land on them with their full body weight, those are the sorts of things that officials will not throw the flag for. So that is the one thing to watch for, players avoiding landing full force on quarterbacks.
All right, good stuff, Ian. Thank you for the update. We'll talk to you later. Now let's get to this. Former Rams running back, this is a great story, Isaiah Pead. He's used to setting the bar high. Now, in 2006, he earned Ohio Division IV High School Player of the Year honors, rushing for over 2,000 yards and 39 touchdowns. Now, the Rams' 2012 second-round draft pick has his sights set completely different right now, a goal right now for his life after football.
When I was growing up, I always dreamed of being in the NFL. What I enjoyed the most was just the camaraderie and the brotherhood that you get in every locker room that you're a part of. I was cut from the Dolphins, and I was just a free agent trying to work out and wait for the next phone call.
911, what is the location of your emergency?
Okay, I'm on 670 East. We just saw a car totally wipe out and crash. It's on the side of the road.
Okay, are they trapped in the car?
I think they are. They're screaming. Wow.
The accident happened so quick. I was riding down the freeway and hit a bump, and we were headed towards the median wall. It's almost like a dream flying in the air and hitting the ground. I just remember waking up in the hospital, and I was just confused. I asked my mom, what's going on, and she told me that you lost your leg. I still had to be strong for my family and the people that were there for me. And so that's what I did. In the hospital bed, I was thinking about any competitive sport that I can get into that were for amputees. I just want to continue to be competitive, on the highest level. Once you taste that in the NFL, it's an addiction.
Keep this leg in, no matter what this one's doing.
My training is going good. It's better every day, whether it's a big jump or a small jump. But if I keep it flexed, then I'm up. My goal is to, be able to compete in the Paralympics, and obviously the ultimate goal is to win the gold. I didn't think anything could fill the void of not playing ball. I knew I was a strong and fierce competitor on the field. But now finding that out about myself in life, I think losing the leg helped me focus on the ones that matter. In an ironic way, I think losing a part of myself helped me find a full self. There's a whole other side of life, man, so I'm finding out.
A dual letterman in high school football and in track, Pead was the Ohio State champion in the 100-meter dash, and his goal now is to win gold in that same event at the 2020 Paralympic Games in Tokyo, Japan. New challenges, new dreams, new goals. What an inspiration he is to so many. So many of these football players, inspirations to everybody. Jared Goff right now leading his team to a 3-0 start. Can he make it 4-0?
Coming up on NFL GameDay Kickoff. The Rams are on fire.
Unloads Cooper, top touchdown Rams!
But are they better than their greatest show on turf? The quarterback of that legendary offense shares his thoughts. Meanwhile, with the Rams' depleted secondary a primary concern, will this dynamic duo take full advantage tonight in LA?
He climbs! Touchdown!
Plus, after a week 3 no one saw coming, we look ahead and separate fantasy from fact. Next on NFL GameDay Kickoff, presented by KFC.
Oh, my name. Are you ready?
Want more stats? Hey Siri, who has the most touchdowns in football?
2 more seasons here at the Coliseum, and then hello, Inglewood, the Rams Stadium at Hollywood Park, moving along nicely. And when it's done, it's going to be awesome. We're all going to be working there. 70,000 seats in the stands there, a hotel. It's going to be a whole complex down there, not just a stadium.
We get to go to that?
Right?
Ooh,
I know, I'm excited. I'll get a desk.
Goodness.
That's great. In the meantime, not a bad place to call home here, the iconic Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. Construction of their own going on here, a new press box, new seats, remodeling. It's so hot right now in LA, guys, and everywhere. And speaking of flipping, both these teams going through renovations of their own in recent years. For more on both, former Ravens Super Bowl winning quarterback Trent Dilfer and John Brinkus give us the soul and science behind the Rams and Vikings offenses.
Now here's what's fascinating about tonight's matchup. It features 2 quarterbacks who finally have #1 receivers. Cousins with Diggs and Goff with Cooks.
And John, it makes a massive difference when you have that alpha receiver out there on the perimeter.
All right, here's our soul and science breakdown.
Goff and Cousins have gone deep to their new #1s. But shorter routes show the timing and trust they're developing with Cooks and Diggs.
Cousins going for it, touchdown!
Here, Cousins begins his throwing motion 0.2 of a second before Diggs even makes his cut. The pass is firm enough to arrive in only 1.6 seconds. But with enough arc to clear 2 defenders, hitting Diggs in an area about the size of a king-sized mattress. On this play, although Cooks doesn't shake off his defender, Goff uncorks a 50-mile-per-hour dart. Because Cooks is moving back toward the ball, the amount of time the ball is catchable shrinks to about 1/10 of a second, literally the blink of an eye. But with the ball actually moving away from him, Cooks still makes the grab.
Last season, Goff was money in the red zone. 23 touchdowns, no picks.
Both these quarterbacks were massively productive in 2017, but I think in 2018, you're going to see them graduate from completing the ball to having true connection with their #1 wideouts. And what does that look like? Completing the ball, you can do that versus zones, do that to anybody. But when you're connecting with somebody, you're throwing them open. You're attacking loaded coverages. You're now attacking defenses that they think have already beat you. I look for in 2018 and tonight for these quarterbacks and receivers to have true connection.
Kurt, let's start with Goff. How have you seen him improve? Because it seems like he gets better and better each week.
Well, I mean, you listen to the numbers there and you go, it's hard for him to get better. But I talked to Coach Sean McVay this week and asked him that question. Where have you seen the improvement from year 1 to year 2 in this offense? And he said, command and comfort of what he's doing, that there is no panic in Jared Goff when he plays football, whether he's throwing the football down the field or checking it down. And you're going to see right here, he knows he's got one-on-one on the backside. He's going to hold the safety to the front side, but then he's got one defender that he's got to manipulate back here. And I just love this. There's no panic. He's not trying to force it. He's going to work this defender with his eyes, and then watch, just wrap a laser right behind this to Brandon Cooks for what was almost a touchdown in that particular look. And then once again, you're going to see no panic right here. You see Cooper Kupp highlighted right there. We drop back. Cooper actually just runs a little bit of a hook here. He's covered. Jared's actually looking to throw the deeper throw here, but things start to fall around in the pocket. And this was one of the things that I loved about him coming out of college, was his ability to manipulate the pocket. You see right there, manipulate it, keep your eyes down the field, a dart on the run, on the money. Cooper Kupp does the rest. They get the ball in the end zone, but he is just in full control, and there's no panic, even though he's only a third-year player.
It's amazing this Rams offense has only gone 3 and out 1 time in 2018. He has the offense rolling. Then on the other side with the defense, we just found out that Marcus Peters is a go for tonight. He will play. Now, we don't know how many snaps he'll be out there for, but how does that change things now for the Vikings?
Well, if I'm Adam Thielen and I'm Stephon Diggs, now I really want to go at Marcus Peters because I know he has that ankle injury, and I know that could possibly slow him down. And Marcus Peters allows you to play man-to-man coverage along with Aqib Talib, but now that he's banged up, I'm not so sure how that helps them with playing a lot of man-to-man coverage, because you know Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen are licking their chops right now. They can't wait to get out there. They got embarrassed last week against the Buffalo Bills. They only scored 1 touchdown. If I'm Stephon Diggs and Marcus Peters, I'm in Kirk Kirk Cousins' ears. Get me the ball. Get me the ball. You see man-to-man coverage under. Get me the football right now. We need to score some points.
Is there probably, when healthy, the best pair of corners in the league? You've got Marcus Peters. Nobody has more interceptions in the league than he does since he's been there. And Aqib Talib, who won't play tonight, has 10 pick sixes in his career. That's fourth all time. Fourth all time. They'll be missing him, but you mentioned Marcus probably will be gimpy, all right?
Yeah.
And so go after him. Will Sam Shields play? Nickel Roby Coleman, Troy Hill? These are guys that they subbed in last week when both guys were out. But where it also impacts the game is if Marcus can't finish the game or play a lot of plays, and these guys are playing defense. They come off the special teams, and they're core special teams players on punt, kickoff, cover, and returns. And all of a sudden now you take them off, the special teams get weakened a little bit too. So it's where the Rams are taking a deep breath saying, geez, thank God that Marcus is going to try to go because it would have been devastating.
That's true.
And I look at it from a quarterback standpoint. When you look at Kirk Cousins, coming into this game and you say, no Aqib Talib, no Marcus Peters, you're going, thank goodness, because they are so good instinctually. Probably the two best cornerbacks instinctually, meaning they see, they read, they jump things, they make big plays. So I'm coming into this game going, okay, I don't have to worry about that. Now I can just attack down the field. You talk about Marcus Peters. The one question is still, who is he going to be tonight, even if he plays? Can he be that same guy? Can I still take chances at him? Because you make a mistake at Marcus Peters, Coach just mentioned it, it goes the other direction for 6 points. So you still got to be careful. If I was Kirk Cousins, I was hoping I got this Thursday night without both of them. But we'll see what he can do tonight.
Adam Thielen averaging 112 receiving yards a game. And Stephon Diggs, he's got to want to bounce back after last week.
For sure.
So Aqib Talib, he won't be making an impact on the field tonight, but he continues to make one off of it. The Los Angeles Rams took part in the Social Justice Rise program last week, integrating 2 high school football teams from 2 completely different neighborhoods in Southern California. Our Steve Weich caught up with Talib after the event.
Aqib, you just sat through about an hour-and-a-half session with these teenagers. What did you get out of it?
It's amazing what the game of football could do, man. It brings people from different backgrounds, different nationalities, everything. It brings all kind of people together, you know. So you got guys from totally different backgrounds. You put them in the same room, can't tell where they're from.
Really cool stuff there. There's Jared Goff warming up on the field. He's averaging 9.32 yards per attempt right now. Will tonight be his best effort yet? We'll see.
Time for the bucket list, presented by KFC.
The LA Coliseum looking beautiful today on this Thursday in the sun. And look, through 3 weeks, I think it's pretty clear right now the Rams are really good. Now, that aside, there were some major curveballs last week. It was a wild and crazy week 3, and it all started right here on Thursday night.
As a wise man once said, or a wise guy, nobody knows anything. Nothing.
The drought is over. They come back and win over the Jets.
The Baker Mayfield era has begun.
Yeah, I felt the energy. It was an unbelievable feeling.
And a performance by Josh Allen announcing his arrival.
Amazing.
Vikings getting stunned.
Oh my gosh, what a game by the Buffalo Bills.
The time has to be now for Bortles and the Jaguars.
Bortles under heat. Sack!
The Titans score a monstrous win. Detroit, after 2 losses, they come in against the reigning AFC champions and get a victory on Sunday night.
1 week just flips the script on everything.
The long and arduous wait in Detroit is finally over. Praise the football gods, for the Lions have rushed 100
Reggie,
yards.
are you happy or you're not happy? I can't tell right now.
I'm happy for him, but that means
it wasn't you.
I don't get a chance to hear my name called in Detroit anymore, man. So that means I'm officially done with Detroit, man. I was enjoying hearing my name called for a little bit. But no, you know what? I'm happy for Kerryon Johnson, man. Congrats, brother. I'm glad to pass the torch, man. I hope you do it consistently throughout the season.
Love it, love it. All right, so many unpredictable variables this year. So I want to see if your confidence is shaken right now. It's like the shook meter. So, Kurt, I'm going to start with you. Patriots right now, 2 games back in the AFC East. How confident are you that they're still favorites in the AFC?
Oh, I'm shook a little bit. I'm shook a little bit. You watch 2 games in a row where they lost by double digits, and more importantly, I'm not sure who Tom's going to be throwing to. Nobody is separating themselves besides Gronk, who's getting double-teamed. But I'm going to temper that a little bit because Julian Edelman will be back soon. Josh Gordon, that experiment is just starting. If those two guys can show up, I'd probably put the Patriots back up there. But right now, I'm a little shook.
Yeah, it feels like this next team we're going to talk about might be the favorites in the AFC.
Yeah.
The Chiefs. So, all right, Reggie, Patrick Mahomes right now, 13 touchdowns already. He's on pace for 70. Let's, pump the brakes a little bit. We're going to reel that in. How confident
7-0.
are you? I know, 7-0. How confident are you that he'll throw for 50?
I'm very confident.
50?
Not only
Whoa.
is he going to throw for 55 touchdowns this year.
You said 51
Tyreek
earlier.
Hill, Travis. I know I changed my mind. I'm feeling good right now. He's going to throw for 55 touchdowns this year. He's going to be the third quarterback to ever do it with Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. Got Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins, DeAnthony Thomas
from here on out.
And they're doing it without getting Kareem Hunt going.
That's right. That's
you
right.
got too many weapons around him. Who you going to stop?
I love that you're fired up about this. Yes. All right, Mooch, here. We got a guy that would have been chasing Patrick Mahomes around in that division, Khalil Mack. So through 3 games right now, he's got 4 sacks, more than the Raiders have as a team.
Don't do it, Colleen.
How confident are you
it.
that he'll finish the season with more sacks than the Oakland Raiders do as a
Raiders
team?
Come on, Colleen. You know what? He had 10.5 sacks last year, and the Raiders had 31. And you know what? Khalil Mack's a great player. We know that, and he's on a pretty darn good defense over there. He's going to be chasing Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins and Stafford and those guys. But the Raiders, Paul Gunther's going to get this thing better. They're not going to be great on defense. They need to spend those draft choices and all that money that they saved to put it on defense, to match the offense, and the Raiders will be better a year from now.
They had all those sacks because of Khalil Mack. That's why.
So was that answer was no?
I'm
not thinking?
He will not have more than the Raiders.
Really tap danced a little bit with that one.
Did.
All right. Well, speaking of defense, we got Ndamukong Suh on the field here in LA. We'll see if they can get win number 4 tonight.
The Minnesota Vikings.
The Rams. A huge test of this defense.
Oh, he's hit and he's sacked. Intercepted. The spark of positivity.
Dances his way to a turnover.
All the balls knocked away.
Great pressure up the middle.
He just daggered the Niners. And it was perfectly timed. Brilliantly designed blitz.
Brilliant call, brilliant execution. That's what makes a good defense great right there.
Back here in LA at the LA Coliseum. What a game we have for you guys tonight. Thursday night football. Look, it's the first time we've been here for a game, but this is a reunion of sorts for the Rams. They played here from 1946 through 1979, including a couple of classics against the Vikings. Check these out. Back in 1972, Mooch, I remember it like it was yesterday, the last time the Vikings beat the Rams at the Coliseum. Fran Tarkenton airing it out, 319 yards passing, which is essentially 800 in today's NFL.
Right,
the Vikings won that one 45-41. Then we have our next one, week 11 of 74. The Vikings got out to a quick lead here. Tarkenton leading the way again, but the Rams, they scored 14 unanswered points to win it. Jack Snow with the 8-yard game winner there. I love the film's music too. It just like gets me so excited, right? Who doesn't love it? And the last time these two played here, 1979, and it went to overtime. Ahmad Rashad getting in the end zone, tying it in the 4th quarter, but Nolan Cromwell sealed it for the LA Rams there with a fake field goal touchdown in overtime. What a fun game that must have been to be at. Awesome stuff. So I'm not sure everyone's game would translate from 1979 to 2018, but I'm pretty sure Aaron Donald's would have been just fine. I think defense travels, right?
Yeah.
Travels well, travels time.
It definitely does.
That's right.
That hype music got you pumped up right there. That's what y'all used to listen to get y'all pumped up.
You know what?
Then?
I had 8-track tapes in my car that had that music on, and I used to listen to it in high school.
I wonder if people are in their cars right now listening to 8 tracks. That's right. This does not travel well. Anybody going up against the Rams defense with Donald and Suh up front, good luck adding Suh to align with Defensive Player of the Year. Pro Football Focus has both of these guys in the top 4 among interior linemen. That's the same team, and you have top 4. Speaking of traffic, this is a light day for LA.
That's
it's not
actually
even bad.
light right there. That's not actually light. Give it about another 30 minutes. It's going to be bumper to bumper.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, look, it's not a show in LA if we don't show some traffic. And we've been workshopping nicknames for those guys. LA Traffic Jam, I feel like it's a little wordy. The fans, I don't know, maybe we'll pull battle them a little bit later. But let's get into it, Mooch. These two guys right now, Donald and Sue on the same line, they've been so impressive. Like, what is it when you watch them? Why do they click so well together?
Colleen, they
really
are good. Now, if I were the offensive line for the Vikings, I'd have flu-like symptoms right about now, because you're talking about two guys that lead the NFL in quarterback pressures since 2014. 72 and 59. Number 1 and 2, and Kirk Cousins has been pressured more than anybody else. Let me show you, because they move these guys around like crazy. Their tackles and their ends. There you go. You got Sue and Aaron Donald. Watch a TT stunt. Sue is going to use up the center and the guard, and here comes around Aaron Donald. He's got to be tighter. I was coaching him. I'd say, you got to have this tighter. Yeah. There's a sack. Down goes Frazier. All right, so now watch this. The left defensive end is Sue. He's on the outside. They're going to move these guys around, and Darnold stays over there now on the right. Both of these guys are going to get double teamed. You got a center and guard on Aaron Donald, and you've got a tackle and a back, Reg, chipping Sue. You know what? You better triple him, because he gets the sack anyway.
That's the quarterback's fault.
Yeah, they held on to it. That's a coverage sack, but you know what? They're getting doubled. They're still getting home. They're great players, Colleen.
Yeah, we just found out, guys. Dalvin Cook is definitely playing, and Riley Reef, the Vikings tackle.
I play with Riley. He's a good player.
He allowed a lot of those pressures last week that you were just talking about to Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, Mike Hughes had 15 pressures.
Is playing. Jerry Hughes, 15. So Marcus Peters, he is also playing. So all of those injury concerns, they're still a concern, because we're not sure how much these guys will play, but they're definitely playing.
Big game.
Right
That's
now.
why they're playing. It's a big game.
Yeah. So Reggie, let's get back to Sue and Donald. Look, let's say you're out there again. You're running the ball, and you see those two guys. I mean, how much fear does that strike in your heart?
Well, it's going to strike some fear for sure, but you cannot play into what they do well. I played with Sue. I know how aggressive he is. Everybody's seen it on tape. He loves to shoot the gaps and get up the football field. You got to get Sue and Aaron Donald running east and west all day. You cannot allow them to think that they have a clear path to the running back or a clear path to the quarterback. So I'm going to throw screens over their heads. I remember when we played the Patriots one year when I was in Detroit, and they would run trap blocks against Sue because they knew he was going to shoot the gaps trying to get to Tom Brady, and that affected the run game. And the hole was, as big as the stage right here. The running back was just running down the football field. So you got to get these guys running east and west early, because they are big, and you got to get them tired all game.
That's what they have to do, right, Kurt?
If I'm playing against them, I'm handing it to Reggie, so I'm going to refer to Reggie. But I would disagree with Reggie, and I would say what makes these two guys so great is, they're big and strong, but they're so unbelievably quick. And so how they beat you is by getting you go lateral, right? So I would run straight at them. You get your body on them, you get your hands on them, and don't allow them to use that quickness to their benefit. So I'm running downhill at them. I'm throwing the ball quickly. I'm frustrating, because what they want is you to drop deep, right? So they can get after you, get the ball out, frustrate them, and then pick your moments to go down the field. But don't make a steady diet of 7-step drops. We saw how that worked out last week for the Minnesota Vikings. Won't work out well tonight either.
This is why I'm sitting here with y'all right now, is because they weren't the quarterback, or you talking about running the ball up the field in the middle. I need to run the ball east and west more. That's why I'm sitting here with y'all right now, because I'm banging my head on a brick wall. I'm only 205 pounds,
I would have thrown it to you 85 times.
Thank you. I appreciate that,
I would just dropped it off.
I'll still be playing if I had you
in space. There you go.
Moral of the story, there's no good way to play these two guys, because they are beasts on the field. Todd Gurley there, warming up, the centerpiece of the Rams offense. Leads the league in scrimmage touchdowns. I'm sure he'll add to that tonight.
It's time! That's how physically dominate. Who's your winner? Dances it at the pylon, has the touchdown. Man, let's go. Let's do it. Oh, he's hit and he's sacked. Ballin', baby. And spun down. It's intercepted.
Another turnover created by this mob squad defense.
Here's a deep shot, and it's caught. Touchdown!
We're just about an hour from kickoff in week 4 as two highly touted NFC contenders collide in the first ever Thursday night football game at the iconic LA Coliseum.
You gotta love it. Thursday night football. Rams, Vikings, let's go.
Two squads thinking Super Bowl or nothing. Goals Thursday and it's time to get it jumping. Whoa, it's a Vikings Falcons and the Rams thing. Both hoping that the next time they play a beat during the NFC champ game. Minnesota trying to get back shining, hoping Kirk Cousins bring them to light. That's why they signed him. The Rams 3-0 for the season, undefeated. And Thursday night's hot for a reason. Believe it.
Welcome to NFL Game Day Kickoff, presented by KFC.
Kirk Cousins, the Vikings quarterback, trying to put last week's massive loss to the Bills behind him. I guess the silver lining here, it's a short week, so good for him. Then on the other side, Jared Goff, the first quarterback to lead the Rams to 3-0 since Kurt Warner, one of the guys on our set today. The fans, they are pumped up for this. They've been here for a while now. I mean, I think a few of them might have skipped work. So hopefully, like, their employers don't really see them on here. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Colleen Wolfe alongside Steve Mariucci. We got Reggie Bush.
Yes, sir.
And Kurt Warner. Guys, it's toasty out here today.
Very hot. I'm about to be as black as a suit by the time we get off this.
Come on.
I'm going to have a sunburn on one arm, but it's going to be awesome. You can see that on our post-game show. So we have a lot going on today. Of course, we've been talking about the injuries, and we have Christina Pink, who is covering the game tonight. And look, it's probably the only thing that's going to hold back the Rams this year. They got crushed by injuries last week. So for more on who's up and who's down for tonight's game, let's send it out to Christina. What's up?
Hey, Colleen. Well, yeah, just 4 days ago, we saw both Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters and Dominique Easley leaving that game here at the Coliseum. Now, with Marcus Peters, we saw him come out on the field just about an hour ago, test that calf strain. The good news is he is up, and he is going to go. We know that Talib is on IR, so they still have half of that dynamic cornerback duo. Now, with Peters coming into this game, we talked to Sean McVay, who told us that if he plays, which we know he is, it's a testament to his toughness and that competitive nature. He said he has to have that lateral quickness and agility, and you saw some of that when he was on the field. No signs of him struggling at all, but he said he has to get over the mental hurdle, knowing that it's not going to do more harm to him to play, and apparently, guys, that's the case.
All right, Christina, thank you. Of course, good news that Marcus Peters will be out there, and with a win tonight, the Rams will start 4-0 for the first time since 2001, just like the greatest show on turf, and the numbers are pretty similar. Hold up, Kurt, they might be even better.
Better? Oh, nah.
That's right. I know. Look, the numbers don't lie, at least the numbers that we put together for this narrative. One thing they can't touch, though, the bob and weave, a classic.
I like that they're bringing it back, but it's not the same.
They need to work on it.
No, it's not the same.
Did you ever get in on that, or were like quarterbacks not really
I was
invited?
too slow.
But why is
by the time I got down there after the big play, they were done and celebrating, and they left me all by
Game was
myself.
over. You're like, guys, what's going on? So how does this offense compare to the greatest show on
We're going to go there, aren't we?
We are.
We're going to go there.
Go there.
Humor us. I tell you what, I mean, I'm going to say, and probably will say for the history of time, I'm not sure there's going to be a better collection of offensive talent than I was surrounded with back with the greatest show on turf. So I don't want to put this group in that category quite yet. But they're obviously doing a lot of great things. And I talked to both Jared Goff and Sean McVay this week. And I asked them, what makes this group special? And what they said was, it's the most intelligent group of skill players both of them have ever been around. And I tell you what, if there was one thing that stood out to me about the greatest show on turf, on top of the amazing talent we had, was how smart our players were.
Yeah.
It's folklore now. We used to have 220 pass plays in every game with Mike Martz. And so obviously you couldn't practice all those pass plays in the course of a week. We would go into games and run plays in games that we had never practiced before, and you would never know it with the way that guys ran routes and the attention to detail they had and the intelligence. And so if there's one thing when I watch this offense, I say they can do a multitude of things because they're very, very intelligent at the skill positions.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up watching and idolizing that Rams team. I ain't trying to make you feel old. But you do got a son that's 29.
I know.
I'm only 33. But I think this is one of the most complete teams in all of football right now. When you have smart players like you're talking about, when you have a complete team on offense and defense, now you can just control the game. And that's special, man. I go back to the year 2009 when we won the Super Bowl. We had that. We had smart players. We were stacked on both sides of the ball. We had the ability to go to the front, go to the line. We can throw it if they wanted to stack the box, and we could run it if they wanted to play coverage.
Well, I mean, you look at this team right now, they've just been rolling the past 3 weeks. And I'm sure our friends in New York have something to say about this. Terry Bradshaw, look at that. Hey, what's up, guys? We're partners now. This is great.
Yes, we are partners. And we heard all that commentary about how smart your players are.
Smart.
Terry said he won 2 Super Bowl MVPs and he was only a 2.0 student. So smart, we don't know.
Really?
But
It's overstated.
But I got to say, we're excited. We are in the heart of New York City. Football is here, Thursday night football. Get to work with these two fellas. We're going to be in the studio, but we're also going to get a chance to spend some time outside with the fans. We have a field set up out there. They're already lined up. They're already excited. This is going to be our home every Thursday night for the next 11 weeks.
Yeah.
First game, though, is a great game. We're kicking it off right. Vikings and Rams.
Yeah,
what you got, TB?
We're lucky tonight to see two great offenses, I think. I think the Vikings come back and start playing the way that we expect them to play. I'm excited to see this Rams team. And I'll say this later, but they say that this Goff is a system quarterback. Every quarterback, Kurt Ewer's system, I was the system, Manning, Brady, so on and so forth. He's just an amazing player, but he's got tons of talent, and that's the key. It's going to be a fun game.
You're going to say that later? You should have saved it.
I'm going to
anyway.
No, because I'll forget. It'll be new to me.
Don't forget this Vikings team beat this Rams team last year up in Minnesota. Kirk Cousins beat this Rams team in L.A. with the Washington Redskins last year. This offense is complicated. Kurt talked about it. A lot of bells and whistles, a lot of motion, a lot of pre-snap shifts. It's great in terms of the running back, his ability to do everything in the offense. They can take the top off the defense. They're great. The defense is simple. They break the huddle. They line up in a simple scheme, and they say, we're better than you are. Yeah. And that's the bottom line. And you have to get Donald blocked.
Hey, Kurt, let me go to you. You got to be happy to see these Rams back in action. Is this a preview, you think, to the NFC Championship game?
Well, I tell you what, I don't think there's any question that the Rams are on track to make it to the NFC Championship game. The question becomes Minnesota, is that this isn't the team that I expected to see. Now, new quarterback, new coordinator, they're changing a lot of different things, but sometime here, they got to find a rhythm offensively. They've really struggled to put points on the board, and I know some of the stats for Kirk Cousins look really good, but I want to see him be a game-changing type quarterback, something we haven't seen to this point. Otherwise, I don't think Minnesota is the opponent for these LA Rams.
Well, that leads me to my next question then. If you talk about the Rams, are they right now, you think, the favorites in the NFC for the Super Bowl?
I really do.
Is it too early to talk about Super Bowl?
No, it's not too early.
Never too early.
They're showing us what they're made of, and I love their coaching staff. Sean McVay, great play caller, and he was the coach of the year. Wade Phillips, we all know what kind of defensive coordinator he is. And John Fossil, great special teams. Start with the coaching staff. They got it.
Yeah, I think they're Super Bowl favorites. I picked them early in the year to go to the Super Bowl. Now, whether they can win the Super Bowl will remain to be seen, but I love them right now as Super Bowl favorites.
And I say yes. The bottom line to me with a Super Bowl type team is, can they beat you in a multitude of ways? Yeah. This team can beat you in any direction, no matter where you're talking, offense, defense, front line, or on the back end.
The Rams probably one of the most complete teams in the entire NFL, not just the NFC. And that starts with their quarterback, Jared Goff, who has this offense rolling. We will see more of that, I'm sure, tonight.
Coming up on NFL GameDay Kickoff. Kirk Cousins earned the big bucks in the offseason. But will Minnesota get its money's worth when it counts the most? Plus, he's the mastermind of one of the NFL's most potent offenses. Head coach Sean McVay reveals why this Rams team is so special. As NFL GameDay Kickoff presented by KFC rolls on.
Oh, my name. Are you ready?
Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern, get ready for kickoff with NFL GameDay Morning.
Isn't that supposed to fall down? Okay.
There are lots of questions in Big D after an up and down start. Does Dak miss Dez? Is it already time to panic? Prescott and the playmaker go one-on-one.
Would you welcome Dez back on this team?
And after nearly 2 decades of dominance, is the Patriots' reign coming to a close?
Brady gonna get sacked! Back at the 10-yard line!
Find out which of our guys thinks this is the beginning of the end in New England. All that and more on NFL GameDay Morning, Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern.
So many questions to be be answered this weekend. More questions to be answered tonight. A look at the LA Coliseum. Hey, it's the only venue to host 2 Summer Olympics. They got a third one coming up too in 2028. Tonight, it's the first Thursday night football between the Vikings and the Rams. And listen, there has been some scary stuff off the field coming out this week about Vikings defensive end Everson Griffin. Erin Andrews, she'll be covering the Vikings tonight on TNF. And Erin, we heard from Ian Rappaport earlier in the show, but what more can you add to the situation about how they're preparing without him?
Well, I mean, the way they're going to prepare and be without him, they already had that run through last week against the Bills. Stephen Weatherly obviously stepping up, and Mike Zimmer telling us this week, you know, we'll have Stephen Weatherly in just like they did against the Bills and have some moving parts around. Stephen Weatherly saying the one good thing about Mike Zimmer's defense is the fact you don't need a superhero to play. We all know what's going on. We just have to do our part. Now, how are they doing mentally? I think that's a big thing because obviously this defense, this team is very close. Everson Griffin being a team captain. I spoke with Daniil Hunter, who's a close friend, and he said he's been texting Everson and he's doing well. And he said he's thinking about everybody. And the good news is the defense has been in contact with him. They know he's all right and they know he's being taken care of. And for them, they can get their minds off the field and worry about what's going on against LA tonight. Kyle Rudolph also telling me, you know, he's known Everson really the longest on this team. And it's, you know, hard not to think and worry about him. But Everson knows very well they have a job to do tonight. They're going to see him when they get back, and their thoughts and their prayers are with him, but they're worried about the Rams tonight.
Yeah, Erin, it's something that's definitely on the minds, I'm sure, of his teammates and then the fans and, of course, all of us here with the NFL. Really, really scary stuff, but hopefully he can get the help that he really needs right now. Now, the Vikings offense, they need to pick things up for this defense tonight on the field, and they'll need to lean on Kirk Cousins, their $84 million man. When he signed his deal, all he wanted to do was tell his family, but instead, well, he made a new friend.
I'll call Julie first.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Let's call my mom. Nobody wants to pick up. Everybody's busy, you know, they got their own lives, you know? They got their own lives to live. My mom's probably flying to London or something. Who else do I want to call? My sister's a doctor, so she's probably busy healing people.
Your call.
Yep, she doesn't want to pick up. And nobody's picking up.
You want to call the guy at AAA back?
Mike Shanahan didn't pick up. I'm going to tell him. I'm going to call him. I'm going to call him. How could you not? He told me to, quote unquote, go get that money.
Good afternoon, Mr. James.
James, this is Kirk Cousins calling. How are you?
I'm good, Kirk. How are you today, sir?
I wanted to call you and tell you I did sign my contract today as you instructed me to.
Who'd you sign with, sir?
We signed with the Vikings. We got a favorable deal. I think both sides are happy with it.
Congratulations, man. It's well deserved.
I can't believe nobody answered his call. Look, you give a guy $84 million and expectations are high. And early on, he has the most passing yards in team history. 7 touchdowns already this season. Only Dante Culpepper in 2004 started the season with more. But judging him against his peers, not so great. Pro Football Focus has him as the 12th rated quarterback, which, hey, look, I'm not saying it's bad. 12 is good, but for $84 million. So I'm going to ask our #1 quarterback here. Is he worth the money that they've spent so far? Are you seeing the returns?
No, we're not seeing it yet, just to be quite frank. I mean, the first thing we got to realize is they're 1-1-1. I mean, they have to win out to have a better record in the win column than they had last year. And so as of right now, no, I look at this team and I look at big plays. Why did you bring Kirk Cousins here? You brought him here to be a difference maker with his right arm, and they're not getting that right now. And some of it is, I think, because of conservative decision-making on his part. You see right here, we just got a 2-on-1 go against the safety right here. You come back, I mean, you get the safety to turn and run. You have got to see this play if you're an $84 million quarterback. You got a guy running wide open down the top of the field. That's an easy touchdown. And, you know, we're checking the ball down instead of taking those chances. Numbers look good. Yards look good. Completion percentage. But we'll see another one here. We got a little read. You can pick a side here. You got 2 in routes on both sides of the field. The underneath guys grab their underneath coverage responsibilities. You got 2 guys open running the middle of the field. We're checking the ball down again. Is that I know things look good, but they brought him here for a reason, to be a big playmaker. Last year with Case Keenum, they were averaging 6.5 big plays a game. Right now, only 4. So I say no. To this point, he is not living up to that huge contract.
Well, I say not yet as well. Not yet. But it's such a small sample size, and he's 84. Don't hold it against him that he's making $84 million. There's a lot of guys over $100 million, maybe not all guaranteed. But this is going to be a project, a process. They may not have the best or as good a record as last year, but could go deeper into the playoffs. That all remains to be seen. But they felt, and I do too, that he was the best quarterback long-term for this organization. Yeah. And Case had a heck of a year. We all know that. Yeah. But I don't know, maybe they didn't feel he could sustain that. I'm not sure. But he and John DeFilippo need to get better together. It's a learning curve, right? And I think they will, because he's got to get better. The defense has to get better. They got to run the ball better. Yes. There's a lot of things, and I think they will.
Yes. I would agree with you on that. I say not yet as well. As the quarterback position, you are the natural leader of the team, of the organization. As you know, I can sit here and throw a bunch of stats at you and show you why Kirk Cousins is great, right? But at the end of the day, listen, they lost to the Buffalo Bills last week. The Buffalo Bills gave up 78 points in 2 games. In 2 games, they gave up 78 points. The Minnesota Vikings only scored 1 touchdown last week. So how are these stats translating to wins and losses? Because ultimately, that's how we are judged in this league, by wins and losses. One of the greatest leaders I've ever played with, Drew Brees, led our team to the Super Bowl. He's still doing a great job. But the way that players show that they appreciate you and that they love you is they show you by the way they play. And right now, I'm just not seeing it, and they got to pick it up soon, because, like you said, they have to win out just to match the amount of wins that they had from last season.
And let me just say this, is that I played in a number of different systems when I was playing. It's not easy to go from one system to another. Yeah. I always felt it took at least 1 year until you feel totally comfortable in a new system, the nuances, the checks that you have to make. And so, again, we're going to base him on the huge contract he has, and we expect him to be great right now. But it takes time.
Maybe this is the week, though, that we see Kirk Cousins sort of air it out with the injuries that the Rams have in the secondary. Aqib Talib out, and then, of course, Marcus Peters, he will be playing. We don't know how he is, though, at what percent he is health-wise. So, look, the Rams, though, are not only off to a 3-0 start, they're doing it with the kind of swagger you'd expect from an LA team. Their early season success has been fueled by some Hollywood star power on both sides of the ball.
There's nowhere else that does hype quite like Hollywood. But there is one highly anticipated LA story that seems capable of living up to their advanced billing. The Rams. They're the perfect cast for a city where it's nice to be nominated, but much better to win. Sean McVay is the wonderkin director. 2 years ago, he was named the youngest head coach in NFL history at age 30. That's young. How young? Somewhere in the neighborhood of Spielberg making Jaws and Coogler making Black Panther young.
Give me a woo if you're with me.
Every major production needs a leading man, and it looks like Jared Goff is growing into the part. Under McVay's direction, Goff is in the top 10 in passing yards and touchdowns.
He just keeps making plays.
And like any good leading man, he started to pass the most important test. You can buy him in the role.
Let's go! Let's go!
Then there's Todd Gurley, the action star who does his own stunts. The reigning Offensive Player of the Year is giving the Rams something that every flashy contender really needs: toughness when it matters most.
Todd Gurley going for the pile-on touchdown!
You know those big-budget disaster movies where an entire city gets destroyed? That's what the Rams defense does to opposing offenses.
Another turnover created by this mob squad defense.
And the best special effect on that crew is none other than Aaron Donald. Last year's AP Defensive Player of the Year partners with Ndamukong Suh to wreak an epic amount of havoc up front. Add to that potent mix a secondary capable of shutting down any would-be action movie set pieces. Of course, not every big Hollywood production lives up to its hype, and we've seen more than our share of big-budget flops in this town. But it's hard to deny that this cast and crew have the potential to write the perfect Hollywood ending. And for a franchise that left home only to make its triumphant return, that would be a perfect LA story.
Perfect LA story as we look at the famous Hollywood sign. Looks a little dry out there. It needs some rain.
That's because it is dry.
In a while, guys. Let's see who's going to be the stars tonight. Who's ready for the game presented by Wrangler? Reggie, you're up first.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Todd Gurley play today, man. I'm so excited. One of the best running backs, maybe the best running back in the NFL right now. Now that Le'Veon Bell is not on the football field, I can't wait to see what he has in store for us. How is he going to take advantage of Everson Griffin not being there? This Minnesota Vikings team is coming off of a loss. You know they're going to be eager to prove that they're still a good defense. So I can't wait to see how Todd Gurley's going to pick it up this week.
Well, you guys all know I'm an offensive guy. So when I watch football, I watch the offensive side of the ball. But when the Rams are playing, I can't take my eyes off of this guy right here. Number 99 is worth the price of admission. That he is as disruptive as any defensive player in the league, and I can't wait to watch him tonight.
Yeah.
All right, Mooch.
I like to watch wide receivers. How about this guy? Number 12, Brandon Cooks, in his 5th year from Oregon State. Reg, he was a track star. He was a track star at Oregon State. 19 receptions, 336 yards. That's 5th best in the National Football League this season. He's got speed. He's got yards after the catch. In fact, 17.7 yards per reception is his best ever in his young career. Watch this guy.
Ooh, I'm watching his quarterback today, Jared Goff. I've seen some bogus debates out there this week that he's a system quarterback, and I feel like every week I've watched him, he's gotten better and better. His throws have been better. He's fitting balls into really tight windows. He's throwing better under pressure from the pocket. He looks really good, and you look at his yards per attempt right now, only Fitzpatrick and Mahomes are better than him.
And newsflash, right? You build your offense around your quarterback.
Yes.
You build your system around the skill set of your quarterback. As Terry said earlier, we're all system quarterbacks if we're in the right system for us.
I was going to ask that question. Like, what defines system quarterback? What does that mean?
I feel like that gets under your skin a little bit. I like that. Look at Stephon Diggs' cleats right now, designed by Snoop Dogg. These are awesome. Do people call him Snoop Dogg? I just sounded terrible. I think it's just Snoop.
It's just Snoop.
You can drop the dog.
Yeah, you can drop the dog.
Yeah.
It's just Snoop.
Okay. And the Vikings take the town over. Ooh, Scullywood. Listen, there's a lot of Vikings fans out here tonight. There's a lot of purple in the town. It's a huge game, potentially an NFC Championship preview if those Vikings can bounce back after the Bills. So, here we go. Let's get some picks going. Reggie, you're up first.
You can make me go first.
Yeah, you got it.
I'm going with the LA Rams 24-21. Let's go.
Woo! Okay, I am going. That's right, guys. I need a drum roll here. I'm going. Thank you. I'm going with the Rams 27-21. Jared Goff behind one of the best offensive lines right now. Todd Gurley. Like I said, this offense is rolling.
You know, the Vikings came out on Tuesday, which is a little unusual.
Yeah.
It's a short week. To travel in a short week, that's a hard thing to do. So I got to hold that against them just a little bit.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to go with the Rams in a real tight ball game. 28-24. Rams win a nail-biter, Kurt.
You mentioned it, Coach. It is so difficult to travel on a short week across the country and play, especially playing against a team that's as hot as anybody. And they've already compared the Rams to the greatest show on turf, so they have to score at least 30 points. So I'm saying Rams then win this one 31-21.
Oh, man. Yeah, the Vikings had to cross 2 time zones to get here. That's a lot. We're going to see who joins us on set after the game. You guys have a little prediction, maybe? The star of the game? Who's it going to be?
I think the star of the game is going to be Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks, your guy.
Brandon Cooks.
Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley on this one.
That last Thursday night game, I think that was the Color Rush game last year when they were in the yellow. He balled out, right?
Well, if the Rams win, I want to get the guy from Marin Catholic High School, Jared Goff, and Cal Bear right here.
Those jerseys look good, though, don't they?
I love the throwback jerseys.
Hey, I still got my jersey like that up.
Really?
I still got mine, too.
Oh, these are so sweet.
I still got my Funk jersey up in the room.
So excited to watch them play. You guys can join Reggie and me on the Check Down Live on Twitter. But coming up next on NFL Network is Fox NFL Thursday with Michael Strahan, Terry Bradshaw, and Howie Long. We'll see you guys after the game on the postgame show with that star of the game.
NFL Game Day Kickoff is presented by KFC's new 10-piece chicken feast.
KFC. After the game, see which stars stop by the set. Then, our guys break down all the biggest highlights and key moments from the game.
That gave them life.
Touchdown!
The U.S. Army postgame show, tonight, live on NFL Network.
Hey, Mike, thanks for showing us around New York.
My pleasure, man. You know, you guys got to get used to the city for Fox NFL Thursday this year.
Hey, look, it's getting close to game time. We got to get going. I'll hail a cab. Yo! Hey!
Relax. Let the New Yorker handle it.
I got this. Let me do it.
Are you serious?
What? I don't even know where I'm going. Just look for the tall building.
See you later.
And welcome to Thursday Night Football tonight on Fox.
The wait is finally over. Tonight, the NFL has a new home with a new look and a pregame in a new city.
That's what they got when we come around. This is your time when we want it now.
This Thursday is the beginning of the next tradition on Fox, with our Hall of Fame crew taking over the Big Apple and our A-list cast ready for action to bring you the biggest stars and the best games Thursday has ever seen. Our team is ready. How about yours?
Watch me.
We're only getting started. This is Fox NFL Thursday, and it starts now.
That's what they got.
Hollywood loves a big-time premiere, and, well, it's time to roll out the red carpet because for the first time, Thursday Night Football is on Fox, and we've got a great matchup between the Vikings and the undefeated Rams. Kirk Cousins, he made a lot of dollar bills in the offseason when he signed with the Vikings, but it was the Bills who gave him all sorts of problems Sunday in a huge upset loss. His former coordinator, he now coaches this guy, Jared Goff. He has the Rams off to a hot start. They've won each of their games by double digits. We are across the country in New York City. The sun is set, but that's when the fun starts in the Big Apple. I am here at Fox Square on 6th Avenue, right in the heart of Manhattan. But it's time to make our way inside the studio because we need to get the show started. So you guys come on with me. Take a look at our new studio. It's all shined up. It's all ready for prime time. This is our midweek home for Thursday Night Football. Oh, my God. Hey. Fox NFL Thursday presented by Verizon. And you know I couldn't do this alone. No. So a few fellas came up. Terry Bradshaw, how long? Fellas,
so good to be with you.
So good to be with you.
How long?
Nice to meet you.
If we keep this guy off the subway system, the buses, and wandering the streets, we'll be okay.
Okay.
We're good.
Well, you know what? Great city. I mean, New York City. The energy, the fans. We're going to be inside, but we're going to have some time outside with fans as well. The schedule's the best Thursday night schedule we've ever had.
Great start.
And we got to be excited. I mean, to start out with the Rams and the Vikings.
Not bad. Pretty good.
So what do you think?
What do I think? I think America. Hey, America, how you doing? TV here.
America.
Yeah, they don't know you.
Yeah.
America.
I think you're going to love this game. A lot of action, a lot of passing, great running. It's the kind of game you want to watch. Stay up late and watch it.
Tackling.
Yeah, we'll have some tackling. Shut up.
Lots of all that stuff.
Lots of stuff.
Well, you know what, Terry, we can tell you're so excited. Terry hasn't been this excited for Thursday since Ross got back with Rachel. You know, Friends?
No.
Okay, we're going to work on you. But speaking of Friends, we're going to go to L.A. to bring in our good friends, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. What's going on, fellas?
Yeah, Terry's up on all the new shows, Friends, Seinfeld, all that stuff. I don't know. I don't know if we can handle this. It's primetime football. It's Fox. We're in Los Angeles. What a good matchup. I mean, it's a great defense, or at least one that was last year that's looking for it here in 2018. Against the Rams, a fun offense to watch. This is as good as it gets in the NFC.
Yeah, there's no doubt. When the schedule came out and we looked at the Thursday night schedule and you saw this matchup here for the first game on Fox, you said, wow, what a big game this is going to be, with a lot of implications for that matter. As Joe said, Rams are awfully fun to watch. Minnesota's defense coming off a difficult loss on Sunday. But when you look at the impact of what this game might have when you move into January, clearly both these teams expect to be in the postseason. There's a lot at stake here for this game. And then also a lot of money spent on all these players in free agency and trades to get them to their respective teams. I don't think there's any more pressure on any one player tonight, more so than Kirk Cousins. They paid him $84 million for a reason, and this is one of those games that that he's supposed to win.
Yeah, well, we can't wait to get this thing going, but we also can't wait to hear more from you guys in the studio. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Troy. And you know what? This game is going to start pretty soon, but right now it's time to play our own little game. This game is called Which Team? It's very simple. I'm going to read a question to you guys.
Like a game show.
I'm questioning. That's a game show.
Okay.
And there are only two answers, either the Vikings or the Rams. If you get it right, you get a point.
Oh,
if you get it wrong, you get -2 points.
Got it.
All right, let's see who the scholar is in this group.
Whoa. What do you got a cheat sheet?
No, it's not a cheat sheet.
Put that up. Give it a...
All right, here we go. Question 1, Bradshaw. Pay attention.
All right.
Which team got its start in Cleveland?
I'd say the Rams.
Terry?
He's right. The Cleveland
The
Rams. I
Rams,
can't believe you got
1947 to 1945. You both got it right.
It's a coin flip every question.
Yeah, well, you can't. You got a 50% chance. WWE Hall of Famer Bill Goldberg, he was a 1990
Minnesota
draft pick
Vikings.
of which team?
Are you serious?
TV?
Cleveland.
It's the Rams or Vikings.
Oh, Rams
You
or
both
Vikings.
got it wrong.
Okay.
He was the Rams. He was the Rams in 1990.
All right. I'm with you now.
Which of these two teams once had 3 consecutive NFL MVPs? Rams or Vikings?
That'd be the
Rams.
Vikings.
Rams. You're wrong, Terry. Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, and Warner again.
Okay.
Which team's practice facility features 2 working fireplaces in the locker room?
That would be the Vikings.
That would be the Vikings. It's cold up there.
Yeah.
That's plush. You both got it right. Which of these teams was the first in NFL history to hire male cheerleaders?
Male cheerleaders?
I'm going to say the Vikings.
I'm going to have to take a pass on that
Come,
one.
give me a question.
I'd say Rams then.
Rams. It was the Rams. You were right.
All right, I got it.
Just
You
this
missed
year.
it. I'm up on it. I'm
Just
up on
this year.
cheerleaders, bub.
Which team has had just one 1,000-yard receiver in the last 10 years, the worst in the NFL?
Oh, that's the Vikings. That's easy.
Rams.
It was the Rams. You're wrong, TB. Good try.
Thank you.
And this is the last question. The tiebreaker. Here we go. Let me get to the tiebreaker question. The last question.
Tiebreaker, I'm up.
Which team has more playoff appearances?
Oh, Minnesota Vikings.
The Vikings. Come on, TV. I tried to wink at you. Work with me. Howie, you're the big winner, my friend. Howie Long, you take the prize.
Actually, it's not.
You know what your grand prize is, Howie?
You know the answer. Did you know the answer?
No, I
He
didn't.
did not know the answers. But you know what your grand prize is, Howie?
What?
We get to tell you what's coming up on the show.
Good.
Coming up, we'll head out to L.A. to check in with Aaron Andrews and Christina Pink. Rams head coach Sean McVay gives us a look into his beautiful mind. Plus, Vince Wilfork makes a grand entrance. It's all coming up on Fox NFL Thursday, presented by Verizon. Fox NFL Thursday is sponsored by Verizon. The best unlimited is on Verizon, America's most awarded network. By McDonald's. And by Toyota. Let's go places.
I have 6 roster spots to fill in DraftKings single game fantasy football. I am starting off with Todd Gurley as my captain. Good choice, right? The captain spot earns 1.5 times the fantasy points, so I'm locking him in and his 73 touches through 3 weeks. We get it. He's good. You know who else is good? The Rams defense at $4K is a salary saver. Say that 3 times. Allowing me to load up on Goff and Woods. Now, for Minnesota, I made value picks in Rudolph and new kicker Dan Bailey. Not the flashiest names, we get it, but they can be solid contributors. Now, it's your turn. Still time to play for free tonight on DraftKings for your share of over $1 million in prizes. Contest begins at 8:20. Download the app. Play for free. Michael, all yours, buddy.
All right, I'll take it from you, Carissa. Thank you. And the Vikings ship, well, they thought they were cruising to tonight undefeated. That is until it crashed into the iceberg known as the Buffalo Bills, who scored the Titanic upset on Sunday. For more on the Vikings, let's go out to L.A. to the queen of the world, Aaron Andrews. How you doing, EA?
Good. I see what you're doing there. A little Hollywood twist. Of course, we're out in Los Angeles, and in Hollywood, everyone looking for the next hottest script. Those Minnesota Vikings, 1 win away from that storybook ending. Well, their super fan, Josh Duhamel, relives some heartbreak and also talks about a different ending he's hoping for this time around.
There are 2 words synonymous with this town. It's not the words themselves, but the seconds before that mean everything. The defining moment of every story. The game of football is no different. A journey culminating in the final act. Except in this league, there's only one way to be remembered. In Minnesota, the pursuit for the perfect finish is all too familiar. A history of coming within inches, being so close that you could reach out and grab it.
Anderson hasn't missed in 2 years.
And falling on the wrong side of fate. Just short of that elusive conclusion.
And it's not good.
Barr throws back across the middle, and he's intercepted.
And it is no good. He missed it. Are you kidding me? The season can't end like that. He missed it left.
Even when it seemed inevitable, when the stars were destined to align.
Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Vikings win it!
It was ripped away. And now, a new year, a new season, a new take. Reworked characters searching for the only thing missing. A Hollywood ending.
You know, Mike Zimmer, the head coach, is ticked. Number one, he's ticked about having to play on this Thursday night, especially against the Rams. He's ticked that his team did not show up last week. They didn't show up last week, America, because they were looking forward to this game. And I think John Flippo, the offensive coordinator for the Vikings, he will not throw 55 passes today like he did last week. They only ran 6 times. That's not going to get it cut. Look for their tight end. Kyle Rudolph. Howie, I think Kyle Rudolph could be the difference maker for the Vikings tonight.
Well, to me, they faltered twice if you include the NFC Championship game in the last 4 games, this Vikings team. I think on paper they look like a championship-level team. They bring in Kirk Cousins, Sheldon Richardson on defense, first-round pick in the defensive backfield. I think they're big on defense. They're physical. They're complex. They're fast. I think this is a championship-level team, but they have faltered. And the one thing you want to do after you falter the way they did last week, you can't wait to get back on the field. So the short week, in my mind, in some ways, benefits the Vikings to get back out. It's a major challenge with this Rams offense. A lot of bells and whistles, a lot of speed, and up-tempo.
Too short a week for a team like the Rams.
Yep.
It's complicated.
Well, the biggest thing with Minnesota is confidence. Confidence after coming off that loss on Sunday, going against a hot Rams team. But the Vikings, they're also dealing with a troubling situation off the field involving standout defensive end Everson Griffen. And for more on that, let's bring in our insider, Jay Glazer. Hey, Jay.
Yes, Jay. Very, very concerning situation there with Everson Griffen. I know a lot of people want to know when Everson Griffen, the player, is going to return. The Minnesota Vikings want us all to pump the brakes on this. We're dealing with a mental health issue here with Everson Griffen. They say, we want to make sure that we're taking care of Everson Griffen, the person, before we even deal with Everson Griffen, the player. So they're now trying to get him as much help as they can in order to get him back so he can come back and play football. But right now, they care more about his life than his football life. Now let's go and shift gears to tonight's game on the field. Dalvin Cook, Everson Griffen's teammate, he's been banged up with a hamstring. He is good to go. However, they're going to have him on a pitch count just to make sure his hamstring is okay. And also Marcus Peters, he wasn't supposed to go in this game. I talked to Sean McVay about an hour and a half ago. He said he came out there, had a great workout, changed my mind. I'm going to let Marcus Peters go. Big, big boost for the Rams in tonight's game.
All right, thank you, Jay. And up next, Sean McVay is going to give us some insight into the Rams' high-powered offense. Here's a little secret. It helped to have Andy Garcia's phone pal Todd Gurley in the backfield. He leads the league in touchdowns. With Aqib Talib out, Sam Shields will get the call at cornerback for the Rams. And he in the secondary would try to shut down Adam Thielen. He is the only Vikings player in franchise history to open the season with 3 100-yard receiving games. And the Vikings, well, they get another cook back in the kitchen, Dalvin Cook. He is back from a hamstring injury from last week.
The NFL presents Roughing the Passer and You. To avoid a roughing the passer penalty, make sure you always keep your head up when tackling. That's it, Jimmy. That looks natural. To avoid injuring the quarterback, you'll want to grab yourself a mattress and a pillow. Now, once you tackle the quarterback on the mattress with his head firmly supported by the pillow, you'll want to make sure you don't drive your body into him. How do you do this, you ask? Simple. By never tackling him at all. And there you have it. Everything you need to know to avoid a roughing the passer penalty.
What thread count is this pillow? 300, I think. Roughing the passer. Trying to hurt someone?
I think the quarterbacks are embarrassed right now.
Yeah, only thing
really
we're missing with a blanket.
Yeah, I mean, at least outwardly they're saying they're embarrassed, but I think privately they're kind of liking it.
Well, if I'm a quarterback, I don't want to get hit, and I know Sean McVay is hoping his quarterback doesn't get hit today. But what more can Sean McVay do to win over Los Angeles? He's got the Rams undefeated. They're dominating teams this year so far. But if that wasn't enough, he posted this on social media and also in the LA Times. It's a memo to employers to ask them to let their employees out early today so they have enough time to get to the Rams game. We're going to go to someone in L.A. who is never leaving work early, always on time as well. Christina Pink. Christina, how you doing?
I am great. Always on time. Thank you, Michael. You know, this fast-paced, high-powered Rams offense is off to a great start. 30 points or more in every game so far this season. It's an offense that drives defensive coordinators crazy with all that movement and formation. But, you know, head coach and play caller Sean McVay says it's all about the illusion of complexity that keeps defenses guessing.
You always try to listen, learn, and then you lead. There's going to be spots where the great players make you right. The illusion of complexity. The first thing that we do is every call that we're making, we think about the quarterback in mind first. And is this something, whether it's the run game, is this going to set something up that gives us a chance to make a play in the pass game? The more that you can keep defenses off balance, the more looks you can present them. It really is, you know, a lot of times the same concepts with subtle tweaks or different personnel groupings and formations. Kind of that illusion of complexity. Your red zone, your third down plans, your 2 minutes, all your situational calls.
2 minutes stoppage, need a touchdown. Let's go. Minus 15-yard line. Got to go 85.
I think it's just being able to give different looks to the defenses, whether it's your formations, your motions, your tempo. We decide when the ball's going to be snapped within the framework of that 40-second play clock. Changing up the tempo to make sure that guys aren't able to just kind of settle in. You always want to try to be in an attacking mode and mindset, but be smart about it.
So, hey, here's the situation. 3:17 left. You guys are down 5.
We got to make sure that as coaches and myself, most importantly, that I'm being accountable to my decisions, to the things that we're doing throughout the course of the week from a preparation standpoint. And then when the game comes around, are we trusting that preparation? Are we trusting the people around, whether it be the players or the coaches? When you're talking about a Thursday game, it's more that above-the-neck mental approach. Want to make sure that our players feel very confident in the game plan, understand the intent of what we're trying to get done, and they're able to play fast with no indecision.
It is amazing when you look at Sean McVay, such a young, dynamic coach. And he came to our studio last year, had a chance to spend time with him. And after 2 minutes, you realize why he's a great leader. You get it. But on top of it, they made some acquisitions this offseason that made a lot of people question, are they taking on too much? Can he handle some of these players who had some trouble on other teams? But of all the coaches in the league, he is the most relatable, I feel. And if anybody can get these guys on the same page as him, and you see the results of it so far this season.
Yeah, it's because of his age, and you know the other reason why they can handle it is because of the staff. Wade Phillips on defense, he had to keep Talib up in Denver. Peters is a guy that has had issues. Had issues with Kansas City. I think that gets in line under Wade Phillips. They bring in Sue. I think Aaron Donald, runs that room, and Aaron Donald's a dominant player. They're dominant at every level: punt team, kickoff team, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, defensive tackle, cornerback. They're loaded across the board.
You want to name a few more positions?
This guy, Aaron Donald, and Mike, you can appreciate this guy, Aaron Donald. He not only beats people, he embarrasses people. So getting him blocked is paramount if you're going to run your offense.
Well, hats off to the Rams for doing what they're still $8 million over the cap. I mean, they still got 8 to play with. And you look at Sean McVay, and people say, well, he's a system guy. Of course he is.
Yeah.
Everybody has a system. Peyton Manning had a system. Tom Brady has a system. Terry Bradshaw had a system. The great Joe Montana. We all come from systems. And that's why that Goff guy is amazing. Yeah, he's in a system. But you have to be smart to run this offense. There's way too much going on. And this kid does it better than ever. And he has what? He's got all the players he needs. Man, he's loaded with talent on offense. Fun to watch.
He's got a lot of talent. We talked about McVay's relationship. And here we are. Let's do Throwback Thursday. Let's check out Sean McVay and Kirk Cousins, who he's going against today when they were up in Washington together, and he even said, I owe my career. Kirk Cousins does.
Why didn't he think he gave him some at $84 million?
Well, you know,
$84 million.
I owe my career to Terry Bradshaw, everybody. We all owe somebody something, right?
Where's my money?
I'm not giving you any.
Where's my cut?
All right, coming up, we're going to go back out west to Los Angeles. Joe, Troy, Aaron, and Christina, they're going to take over as we get closer to kickoff. And the one and only Vince Wilfork joining the Fox family. He's going to make his debut tonight, as only the big man in overalls can.
And welcome to the McDonald's Kickoff Show on a warm night in Los Angeles at the LA Memorial Coliseum. We cannot wait for this new chapter in an old rivalry. It's all for you tonight from LA.
Los Angeles and Minnesota from the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum.
Rams versus Vikings. Real rock'em sock'em old time football.
I took a lot of pride in wearing the purple. It did mean something extra to me to be able to play for the Vikings.
Wearing the Rams helmet, those beautiful horns on the side, it meant a lot.
We were Vikings. They blow the horn, and here we come. It was a great thrill.
Playing the Rams every game, there's something on the line, and you have to go out and beat them.
When you play against the best, that brings out the best in you. That turned up the notch.
We had a great rivalry with them, but am I a Viking fan? No.
There's huge differences between who these teams are. You have LA going back to their original home.
Hollywood, lights, camera, action.
They have the firepower.
The history of the Rams has been renewed.
When you look at the Minnesota Vikings and what they're doing on defense,
this is the best Vikings defense since the Purple People Eaters.
We weren't purple and we didn't eat people, but other than that,
they had a reputation, much like we did in LA with the fearsome foursome.
For sure, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, front four in the National Football League ever.
These two cultures are about to collide,
and now we get to see it again.
We will see who's the big boy on the street.
Vikings Rams on Fox.
Doesn't get any better than this.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun here, obviously, because you've got two of the best teams in the NFC. And you know what I just heard a second ago? I heard a Skol chant. The Viking fans are here in force and in full throat. I'm Joe Buck, along with the Hall of Famer Troy Aikman. Did you get taller? What are you, like 6'6" now?
I got some thicker heels on, yeah.
Man, give a guy a complex. All right, let's talk about these two teams. It's easy to say you've got the great Rams offense, and they've been great to start the season against this terrific Vikings defense, but the Vikings are still waiting for that defense to kind of show up. If you go back to the playoffs last year, the second half against New Orleans, the champ game in Philadelphia, the way they started this season, we haven't seen that great Mike Zimmer defense.
No, we have not, and it's not a defense that's playing with the same kind of confidence, and I think it does go back to last January. In the biggest game of the year, a team that's built around the defense, and the defense simply didn't show up in the NFC Championship game. So now you look at this year, and they have had to rely on a few younger players because of some injuries, but just the fundamentals of what this team has been about, they're not executing. They're not tackling very well. They're giving up big plays in the passing game. Last year, they were #1 in not giving up big plays in the passing game, and they better shore that up in a hurry because they're facing this Los Angeles Rams team after 3 weeks. #1, they get the ball down the field. They stress you in a lot of ways. This is going to be another big test for Mike Zimmer's defense.
Yeah, they can flat out run you out of the gym, as they say. All right, it's brought to you by McDonald's. We're going to go down to the field and check in first with Aaron Andrews.
Joe, you mentioned these Vikings fans. There are a ton of them here. Now, they're pumped to be in LA right now, but when the schedule originally came out, I don't know if you'd find anyone from the organization too excited to head out west on a short week. But after being just absolutely embarrassed by the Bills at home, everybody was ready to turn the page and get back onto the football field. I spoke with Kyle Rudolph, who said, let's get out of the meeting room, let's play some football, let's get this bitter taste out of our mouths. They're ready to go. The mood is good with this Vikings team. The mood improved when running back Dalvin Cook took to the field in pregame warm-ups. It was a game-time decision. With a hamstring injury, they're going to need him tonight. For more on the Rams, let's send it over to Christina Pink.
Thanks, Aaron. Well, Marcus Peters was also a game-time decision, and Sean McVay said if he plays in this game, it's a credit to his toughness. We're seeing that tonight. Went through a rigorous pregame workout, went into the locker room and told Sean McVay he was ready to go. I talked to Coach and asked him if Peters is at 100%. He said if he wasn't ready, we would not put him out there on the field. There are no limitations. He will start tonight, and they'll certainly need him without Aqib Talib on the other side, Joe.
All right, Christina, thank you, and thanks to Aaron. But, hey, that's their jobs down on the field. And talk about their jobs. These guys are minutes away from putting their feet up and watching football in the studio. But before that happens, we're going to put them to work. Good matchup for you tonight. It's Thursday Night Football. It's prime time ball on Fox.
Welcome back to the McDonald's Kickoff Show.
It's almost game time, Kevin. You know I love that Michael Strahan, Terry Bradshaw, and Howie Long are hosting the first season of Fox NFL Thursdays, a mix of old school and new school.
Yeah, well, I don't know about calling Strahan new school. It's more like medium school, if you ask me.
Don't make me take you back to night school, Kevin. I mean, look at these guys. Strahan is such a big star. He's on so many great shows.
Nah, he is on every show on TV right now, so I'd hope like a few of them are actually good. Plus, Strahan's not a star. I'm a star. You know, I could actually host Fox NFL Thursday if I wanted to.
Oh, yeah?
Are you serious right now? You don't think I can host it? Cue hosting voice. Tonight on Fox, it's the Vikings and the Rams. Oh, yeah. Two of the NFL's best teams. Two of the best QBs. And I'm talking like this. Pick a batter. Hit it. Gary, you all right?
Nice throw. Look at Gary, he bleeding.
He is bleeding. I need a host and a Strahan. That's not really my forte. I'm sorry, Gary.
Let's go to Michael, Howie, and Terry in New York City. Hey, guys.
Hey, thank you, Tiffany. And Kevin, stay in night school, man. Now, when you're in New York, you got to see what it's all about. You got to see what's going on in the streets. This is the streets outside on Fox Square. You got all these fans. This is the melting pot of fans and the people. So you have Pittsburgh Steelers fans, Giants fans, Jets fans, Saints fans. You got it all out here. You love this energy. They love you, TB.
I'm big here.
You big here?
Yeah, they love my country music here. All my albums sold in New York City.
How many of you got a Terry Bradshaw album? Well, that's
what are you going to do now?
Two more than Howie and I have.
Yeah.
Well, you guys know what? We've added a new member to our Fox NFL family. It's a two-time Super Bowl champion. His name is Vince Wilfork, and every Thursday, he'll check out the scene where our Thursday night football game is. Now, this man, he loved his barbecue, but this week, we wanted him to check out the fine dining scene of L.A.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going back to Cali. I'm going back to Cali. I'm going.
Fox sent me out here for their first Thursday night football game here in L.A. I'm a Southern boy, so I tell you what, they better come with it. If they don't, it's going to be a problem.
Hello, how are we doing tonight?
I'm good.
Good. We have 3 special courses from our chef tonight, starting with our truffle sashimi here.
Yo.
Truffle sashimi.
This is L.A. I'm good with that.
So this is our second course. It's going to be our signature catch roll.
I don't even eat sushi.
You don't eat sushi?
No. I gotta go talk to the chef myself. This is ridiculous. I need to talk to the chef.
Excuse me, sir.
Listen, got to step your game up, all right?
Bring the big guns.
Got to bring the big guns and stop playing around. Let's go. Oh, you stepped your game up, Kate.
Michelle, actually.
Well, you look like a Kate.
Enjoy.
Just from ready to say you, L.A. Now it's time for me to get up out of here. Peace.
Every time I'm in the street, I hear.
Vince.
What's good, man?
Vince Wilfork. He's not really thrilled with the food, particularly the portion sizes in LA.
I'm not bad and bougie, man. Let me show you what I got for you, man.
We saw Vince literally sitting down outside of one of the hottest restaurants in LA with a grill.
Tell me what you think.
Looks amazing.
And we're going to make a dent in our Thursday night budget trying to feed Vince in every city. And it is almost game time. So, fellas, let's make our picks. Who you got, TB?
Well, as Howie said, we're on the waning side of a harvest moon.
Yes.
So I think the Rams in beautiful LA, so I'm going with the Rams tonight.
Yeah, Vikings defense been on the field a lot over the last 2 weeks.
Waning.
Overtime in Green Bay last week. Big loss. I'm going to go with the Rams at home, but the up-tempo offense.
I want to be a little different. I think after getting beat by the Bills, getting embarrassed, I'm going to take the Vikings.
Very good.
On the
Good
show.
choice. Good choice.
All right. Are you guys ready to watch some football? You ready for it? Thursday night, the Vikings and Rams are about to kick, so let's go back to Joe and Troy. We're going to see you guys at halftime. Enjoy the game.
Michael, thank you very much. Welcome back to Los Angeles. Look at the Rams about to take the field in their defensive group. And while we talk about the Rams, you think about offense. Back in my hometown, fans remember a team that put points on the board at fast break speed that would make the Lakers envious. A quartet of Warner, Falk, Bruce, and Holt be at the forefront of an offensive juggernaut that would become the first in NFL history to score 500 or more points in 3 consecutive seasons. Fast forward about 20 years and about 2,000 miles west. Troy Aikman with his current quartet of Goff, Gurley, Cooks, Kupp. I guess, are we looking at the greatest show on turf 2.0 or O'Shawn's 11? What do you think?
Well, and it's not just because they're both scoring a lot of points, over 30 points a game, but I think when you break them down and look at the way in which they did it, I thought Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce were 2 of the best route runners in all of football during that stretch. Right now, Robert Woods and Brandon Cook are unbelievable in their ability to get in and out of breaks. Of course, Ricky Kroll was the slot guy. Now you got Cooper Kupp and the trigger man between Kurt Warner and then, of course, Jared Goff. It's amazing to watch. They've taken the league by storm, and in such a short period of time, what Sean McVay has done for this young quarterback and Jared Goff is nothing short of remarkable, and should be a lot of fun again tonight to watch this.
Well, he's a young guy. I'm sure he's tired of talking about how young he is. Head coach Sean McVay, who is the reigning coach of the year, hired at the age of 30 and now coaching at the age of 32 in his second season. He took the team from last in scoring to first in scoring, and doing it as the youngest head coach in modern NFL history. So as we look at these starting lineups presented by Audi, we look at this Rams offense and where they rank. Overall, 3rd in the NFL. And as you look at the lineups, here are the backs and receivers, but Troy, a big emphasis on what they have up front with their offensive line.
I think when you look at left tackle, Andrew Whitworth, him coming in last year and what he meant to this team, the left side of the offensive line has been outstanding. They've protected Jared Goff. They've got their work cut out for them again tonight. But the rebuild of this offense really started with that offensive front.
Talk about a team that was a playoff group from a year ago, and they've added to that defense. As you've heard, Marcus Peters is playing tonight. Aqib Talib is not. He's on IR with a bad ankle. Now on the other side, you've got Mike Zimmer. He's old enough to have coached when Troy was playing on one of the teams he coached. 25th overall year. It's his 5th season as the Vikings head coach. Played at Illinois State, was a linebacker and a quarterback. How do you look at the Vikings in 2018 and not circle Kirk Cousins and say it's all on this guy?
Well, you can't, because they went out and they paid him $84 million this offseason, feeling as though they're one player away from taking them to the promised land. And when you get paid that kind of money, these are the games that you have to win. This is a game with a lot of implications. Certainly, we view this going down the road. The playoffs are on the line, and I think it's important, especially coming off of last week's loss against Buffalo when he turned the ball over. He needs to play well today.
You know what we have found over the last few weeks? The stars of today have reverence for the stars of yesterday. Here's tonight's Timeless.
Nathan Jones, one of the greats.
Fran Tarkenton, making plays.
Man, Jackie Slater, Alan Page, Isaac Bruce, Chris Carter. Jack Youngblood was definitely a guy to get after it.
The sideline catches, that's kind of what I really remember. Hanging there, 2 feet, touchdown.
He just seeks and destroys. People feared him. You want people to fear you, respect you. He was one of the purple people eaters. That's really something that's really respected around here. His motor just never stops. Good GPS tracking system, we call it. Big time celebration. That's how you get the Super Bowl championship right there.
He was an improviser. It's something you can't really teach your coach. He took risks, and they paid off.
Look, now he has the ball in his hand to the house, man, to the crib. And throw the ball, yeah! That's what we like. We love it. My man is out there playing. He's just out there balling.
He's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best to ever play the game.
We all, as players, owe these guys a great deal.
You led by example. You put it on film, and your film is here to stay.
Kickoff on the other side of the break. Glad you're with us tonight. Should be a good matchup. Find out together on the other side of this break from LA.